You're preparing for the NFL draft 3 weeks away. Preparation never stops. Never sleeps. Even on a flight back from Mexico, from Dallas. I'm prepping for the draft. Coy Pond out.
What's going on, fish? Welcome back to the Coy Pond. Our valiant warrior is back once again. K-Dog is in the house. Welcome back at episode 23.
Wow.
Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? And once again, everyone, last week's video did numbers. Thank you all so much for the support, the love on the video. It's our second one in a row that's hit 100 views. I don't know why anybody watches it, but appreciate you nonetheless, without a doubt.
That is crazy.
Wild shit. I didn't think we'd do it without Kevyn. Matt, you're a great guy, and you were the best co-host I've ever had other than Kevyn. But I was not expecting it back-to-back. I thought it was a fluke, to be honest. Not a dig at anybody in particular.
No, because that dig would have been at us most of all. So, but no, it's you.
Nah,
You're the common thread there, buddy.
I have to edit it.
So
I'm the common thread of getting them out.
Well,
I just have to edit.
Matt wasn't on both, and I wasn't on both, so you were.
Well, I
so
don't know.
you yeah. But anyway, pretty exciting stuff.
Good stuff. He came back. He's back from Mexico. He survived. Glad to have you back.
Happy to be here. I was just telling Colin before we started the podcast that, being away for a week, and as soon as the video came out on Thursday, I was dying to look at it.
He was quick to watch it. He got a quick text after it came out.
Just to even the discussion, and it's like, for Colin and Matt, we joked a little bit about they go to Elsa's every Friday night, and it was just kind of a continuation of discussions they have probably every week.
The conversations don't vary that much. The subjects do, but when we have that conversation, that was authentic.
Yeah.
That was as if you were there next to us.
So I really enjoyed that, and I thought it came through from the other side, watching it, and of course love seeing Matt wear the star and keep that going for us in the meantime.
He represented well.
So very awesome.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Great job. While I was making my way coming back through the Dallas airport, of course, what a horrible place for me to have to stop for 3 hours.
I'm sure you hated every second.
Yeah, the shirt, the draft magazine, and that was exercising restraint.
Yes.
To keep the purchase at $40-some.
He was walking around with a closed fist, trying not to grab the first thing he saw.
It was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
But when I left the airport in Mexico, I had my Dallas Cowboy hat, different one on, but I almost always, when I go into Dallas, coming back from Mexico, almost always have something Cowboys on. And it used to be that they'd look and just be like, "You're good, you're good."
Right.
So this time in the Mexico airport in Irapuato, some Mexican dude is sitting there waiting to get on the same plane.
Right.
He had a Pittsburgh Steelers hat on. And I'm in line to board the plane, and a lady behind me taps me on the shoulder, and I look over, and the guy that had the Steelers hat is going, "Hey!" and in that moment, it hit me, idiot. I run across multiple people. One was a Lions fan.
Oh, go figure.
Struck up a big conversation with him. He's like, that 2-point thing was good. So. What I need to do is be quicker with my phone. So just say, "Do you mind if I take a quick video?" Just to have a quick
interaction, maybe even a selfie.
Or a selfie with them, yeah. But everybody wants to talk football. I don't know if it's just the star on my hat, or perhaps they've actually seen the Coy Pond.
That's wishful thinking.
That's almost like dropping a penny in the pond, right?
We don't have many pennies in the pond right now.
That's the Coy wish, huh?
The pond is big, the fish are few, but we're getting bigger.
Getting bigger. But I just thought that was funny.
That's hilarious.
And actually, that all happened within like a half an hour, because I didn't wear the Cowboys hat except for going to the airport that day.
Gotcha.
So
I will say, it feels like in the off season for the NFL, anybody that wears NFL merchandise, you're typically dealing with a different breed of crazy, like the both of us.
You're right,
as you may notice, but sidebar, it just feels like if you find someone wearing NFL shit that's in a location you wouldn't expect it, more than likely you're going to be able to get a good debate, or they're going to heckle you the whole night.
Yeah,
depending on the circumstances.
And it was fabulous. What was really cool is the Detroit Lions fan. He had a Tigers hat on. So I said, I assume you're a Lions fan too.
Yeah.
Well, once we boarded the plane, we sat on the aisle across from
Oh, my
another.
God.
And so we sat there, and he was telling me Detroit is getting ready for this draft like nobody's business.
Well,
after a segue, right?
After the season they had, to have the draft there is insane. And I don't think it was really planned that light, because they planned the draft locations like years in advance, don't they?
At least a couple
it's
years.
It's like 2 or 3 maybe.
He said they are so much money.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, dude, let me just paint this fantastic image in your brain. You have the draft there. You're you're going to be the place,
right?
And imagine having the draft and winning the Super Bowl in the same season. Yep. He's like, man, don't fuck with me.
He just start crying on the plane.
He sounded like about every other Lions fan that I ever talked to. It's like, who could blame him, right?
No, yeah, for sure.
But
I was just saying, that's journalism, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You're hitting the streets.
Oh, it was great.
But that's awesome, and it doesn't surprise me, because Detroit as a whole has not probably been viewed as one of those premier spots for ever.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to do them dirty, but it's been a while if they have been.
It has.
And now, I don't think the Tigers are anything special. They started out good, I think. But the Lions doing what they're doing in the draft coming there. I mean, you would assume the city is going to make that the best draft ever.
He said they're bustling like crazy.
I'm sure.
It's exciting, and I have to say, when he was telling me that, I'm like, can I run up there for the night? I keep thinking,
where do you stay?
No, I don't. But it's really close. It's really close.
It's not far.
I've always wanted to go to one draft, but
it'll come to Cincy after they win.
Mr. Collin and I are going to take in the draft at some place in the South Dayton region next Thursday night. So we're next Thursday.
Yeah.
We're almost 1 week.
It's basically
1 week away.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe it?
It's crazy. I still need to take that day off.
Oh my gosh! Yes, and because we'll probably record some segments.
We can at least talk about it, live reactions, maybe see it on the next day, because next week's pod will come out that morning, obviously, but then we'll have the reactions the following week.
Right.
As you all probably know. I'm just saying
no, it's
for our own sake to remember.
Scheduling, definitely. Yes. It's important right now, because now everything matters, and so speaking of the schedule, so we got the draft next week.
Right.
And then 2 weeks after that, they said roughly May 11th, we're going to get the actual schedule release.
Awesome.
And so that it's such an exciting time, because these are big things. I mean, who your new players are going to be. And then if you want to go to a game, when that schedule comes out, you better be on the phone getting your hotel, your tickets.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be quick.
Because stuff moves fast.
These premier teams or top teams, or I don't know how to say it, teams with good shots, I mean, those tickets sell quick.
They really do.
Even if you're not going, any smart person would buy it at the lowest price and sell it the highest when they figure out, Jimmy Johnson's going to be inducted.
Yeah.
All it takes is Megatron getting inducted next year.
One thing to happen you couldn't expect.
Who knows? I can't remember within the Lions organization who's been inducted, who hasn't, but all it takes is that one player to be up during the game you plan on going to. Tickets sell out the day that's announced.
And man, we experienced it this last year, like Colin just said, the Jimmy Johnson Ring of Honor. But it was a big game, too, because the Lions fans traveled like crazy.
Yep.
And then you throw the Jimmy thing on top, and it was, we had no idea when we talked about that in August or September.
That was going to be the situation.
But it skyrocketed to a hell of a match.
And that just goes to show you how much this draft matters, because the hype around the team only builds up what the team wants to do during the regular season.
That's right.
They don't want to pick a shit season to induct, X player into the Hall of Fame. They're going to wait a year.
Yeah. And can you imagine right now? So all these teams, 32 teams, right?
Yep.
Is that how many we're up to now?
Yep.
All these teams are just cramming. They're going to start panicking here, because they've got to make some decisions.
Yes.
The one thing sure about the NFL draft is there's nothing sure.
No.
And all you have to do is go back as we start to look to like next week. I couldn't help but think, God, we're talking about Caleb Williams being the obvious number one.
Yep.
Is he the sure thing? He's regarded as the surest pick in the draft, but let's look at 2017.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky, the second pick in the overall draft, first quarterback taken, I think. Mahomes was taken 10th.
Yes.
So Caleb Williams, there's nothing guaranteed. Ryan Leaf, if you go back years ago.
Old Chargers.
Nothing guaranteed. 2022. Brock Purdy's taken
last.
262, right? Mr.
Yep.
Irrelevant. Kenny Pickett is taken 20th overall. As I start to look at this and think, what is my mock going to look like? I've never felt more unsure about how to rate this thing because these teams that are quarterback starved
Yep.
are desperate for something. Let's face it, if you haven't got a quarterback in this league, you are screwed.
Yep.
Because the rules, everything is designed for offense and the quarterback.
You just have to have a competent quarterback.
So, God, I can't imagine in these war rooms and these discussions. I mean, Caleb Williams, okay, surest thing in this draft, but
I can't imagine being the Bears right now going, because everyone that talks about the NFL right now assumes it's Caleb Williams first overall.
Yeah.
But you have to wonder, with that amount of surety, the Bears war rooms probably flipped to like, we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
The question of a doubt, and now it's probably getting everyone's head.
Yeah.
Given who knows I can't remember what their front office usually does other than draft shitty quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Not Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But then be like, are we sure about this?
Because really, when you look at it, I mean, your most sure players are probably like Marvin Harrison, Joe Alt, the tackle.
Yep.
The center, Neighbors, is a receiver. The other center, Powers. I mean, so it's not necessarily the quarterbacks. In fact, the quarterbacks are probably the most risky things to pick.
Yeah.
You're
in recent history,
you're
sure.
either going to have a job or you're going to get fired.
Yep.
It's that simple. And so, gosh,
Look at Mac Jones.
I mean,
Back up for Trevor Lawrence.
I just can't help but look at this and feel pain for these scouts in front offices.
Oh yeah, it does. It feels like these days there's not a right choice. There's a better choice, and you have to have a bit of luck.
Yeah. And the situation has to be right. I mean, Brock Purdy stumbles into a great team with a great offensive coach.
With two quarterbacks that should be better.
Right, exactly.
At the time.
Yeah. And somehow this guy is the perfect fit at the perfect time that,
Skyrockets.
Shanahan saw it, I guess, but good grief. I mean, you look at Dak Prescott compared to that. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott's taken in the 4th round.
Yep.
Can't do anything in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy has won, a NFC championship and lost in a championship. Lost in the Super Bowl, won an NFC championship, I think.
Lost 2 Super Bowls, won a couple of championships.
I mean, it's crazy.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That might be the 49ers.
But just ultimate success right out of the gate. And again, Mahomes, same thing. Trubisky's never done anything.
Yep.
Mahomes is, the new Tom Brady.
King of the world.
So
it's nuts. It's crazy to think about all of these things that they're having to think about while relying on the scouts, the owner, the front office, the GM. Everyone has to agree or, get close enough that someone's sending the ticket in.
Yeah. So I'm even seeing mock drafts today where they've got J.J. McCarthy going as high as 2 now.
I saw that.
And it's like, but again, if you stop and you look at who are the winners, not necessarily just the quarterback play. None of these guys are without weaknesses.
Right.
But who's the winner? Who's the guy that has that Tom Brady quality that
everyone's looking for?
Yep.
And half the people now are saying Jaden Daniels 2nd, Drake May certified 3rd.
Yeah.
People saw the picture of Jaden Daniels' elbow when he releases that looks like a sharp point.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
It's out of control.
And it's lying season. Nothing you hear on the internet could be true.
No.
And it might all be false.
All this stuff is misleading people on purpose. To your point, we won't know this for years
if it even comes out.
And that's what's crazy is even when the draft is complete, you still won't know for a long time.
No, because the team will say for as long as they have him, like the Chargers, Herbert's the guy we always wanted.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they wanted Tua, and Herbert fell in that 2021, 2020 draft. We'll never know.
No.
Not until Telesco is on his deathbed, maybe.
Yeah.
And that would be like the last terrible move he made. But, it's just crazy to think about.
It is.
And then you have to sort behind, or sort by is the best player available and the best player for us.
Right.
What do positional needs and just, you can't pass up Travis Kelce. You know what I mean?
you got to take the best. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's proven time and time again, this whole notion of, BPA, best player available.
Right.
Or take him for need, and need just never works out.
No.
Even if you've already got a quarterback, you take another quarterback if that's the best player on the, because you're going to need another quarterback at some point.
Yep.
You know,
those needs will show back up.
they will. This one shows that I'm looking at from this is Pro Football
Focus?
PFF
Pro
Football Focus. Yeah. It. By the way, I listened to a guy from here on NFL radio this morning, and one of the questions that they asked him was when they're doing their rankings.
Yep.
He's like, for example, when you talked about your defensive player of the year, and it was Myles Garrett. T.J. Watt actually had more sacks. So the question Solomon Wilcox asked, which was interesting, is how can that be?
Right.
How can it be that the guy with less sacks? It was really interesting. Even Solomon Wilcox and the other guy that was on there were both like, we never heard all this kind of detail before.
Right.
But the guy talked about how they look at like pressures, number of plays on the field, what did those plays result in on the other end. So it turned out that Myles Garrett just had way more pressure type plays that resulted in
Back
like a
throws.
safety or a turnover and I had no idea when they're looking at that stuff that the statistics behind the statistics were so significant in the decisions that they made on how they rank people.
And not to mention, just because we're talking defensive player of the year, how subjective sacks can be.
Right.
Behind all of that, it's crazy.
They showed something where it was like Myles Garrett beating his person one-on-one versus T.J. Watt kind of having a cleanup, like where he came in
second and kind of swept around the side.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre how they do this, how they do defensive plays in that nature.
It is. And the NFL still, I didn't know this, but if you sack somebody on a 2-point conversion, that doesn't count as a sack.
Huh.
So Myles Garrett had one of those.
Then it just didn't count.
And it just didn't count.
Huh.
So I was fascinated.
Right.
Listen, that's what led me to go check this website out in the first place. But yeah, so they've got J.J. McCarthy going second, Jaden Daniels going in third with the Broncos trading up with the Patriots.
I think there's going to be a crazy. I think because of the surety of all these teams, of just all the news coming out that the 4 quarterbacks are going top 4. Whether or not that's true, I feel like there's going to be either a crazy pick that's not a quarterback, there's going to be a crazy trade that someone jumps someone else.
Just like
it just feels like one of those drafts that this could get weird quick.
You're so true, so right on that. Rich Gannon on NFL Radio at lunch today was saying he feels like this is going to be the most panic-stricken draft ever. Like teams are going to just be giving away gobs of shit to get up into one of these quarterbacks. You know, the Broncos right here, which, hell yeah, they got nothing.
Yep.
They need something. This one shows Marvin Harrison going to the Cardinals at 4, but I got to believe the Vikings, or maybe even the Giants, but more likely the Vikings, are going to trade up in there with the Cardinals and get the next quarterback, I would think.
There was other news I saw from a tweet, given it's a tweet. It wasn't from anybody official, so I don't wholeheartedly endorse it, but it was funny that someone said, the Vikings wouldn't give Jim Harbaugh a contract last year in the offseason, so that he said, like, there's no fucking way I'm trading with the Vikings.
Yeah.
I guess. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that'd be hilarious.
Really?
If the Vikings are going to have to give up more to get the Cardinals pick than they would if they got the Chargers pick just out of the spite that Jim Harbaugh hates them. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't sound that far off for being Jim Harbaugh, because it's Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that'd be so funny if they hurdled the Chargers just to grab a quarterback, and regardless, the Chargers stay with whoever they get. And frankly, whoever it is, I don't care. Great. 5th pick's the best.
And this thing shows Joe Alt going to the Chargers at 5. You'd be set for
who knows?
A decade.
Yeah, it could be Joe Alt, it could be Odunze, it could be Neighbors, it could be Martin Harrison Jr.
Any one of those 4.
That 5th pick is such a question mark because it depends on how crazy the top 4 get.
That's right.
And, we'll be waiting 5 minutes you have to decide?
I think it's even more than that.
Of course.
It's kind of crazy. It's like 10 or 15 minutes.
I can see that. So not only is there going to be like us waiting forever just to know what's fucking going on, but I just have a hunch, like you said, that someone's going to trade with the Cardinals. Someone's going to trade. I mean, maybe even the Commanders. It's going to get wild, and someone's going to get a king's ransom, but similar to what the Bears and the Panthers did. Maybe I'm thinking about
right,
where like they gave up the 1 pick, but they got 7 that set up their franchise to possibly be great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's something wild.
I don't see how the Vikings and Broncos don't trade up in there. Maybe the Patriots keep that 3rd pick, but I really just think the Patriots are going to be more patient.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Brissett, I think they realize they can win a lot of games if they build the talent around, and I just think the Broncos and the Vikings are going to come up in that 3-4 spots.
I agree. I think they're desperate. I think the Patriots can live with Jacoby Brissett.
I think so.
For a couple years.
Yeah.
They can experiment with it, get more picks, and then test the waters out that way.
Yep. And again, that means the Chargers then would have their pick of the 3 you said, Neighbors, Harrison, or Alt. And the question then becomes number 6, do the Giants move on from David Jones or not? I would say that they don't. I think Neighbors or Harrison probably is going to go there.
Yeah.
And they haven't had a number 1 receiver that talented in a long time.
No.
So it could make a huge impact on them.
It could, honestly, because they lost Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, right.
So now, you don't have that star on the team necessarily. I can't even fucking remember their receivers off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's just like you just need something to get the momentum going.
Right. Talis Fuega from the Oregon State Beavers got him going to the Titans.
Huh.
I think they're gonna take an offensive lineman, especially with Bill Callahan being the new coach, because they know that you can build through the trenches, and once you have that, you can do all kinds of stuff.
You have way more time with everything else.
Yeah. Falcons at 8 are going to take, I think, an edge rusher.
I could see that.
I don't know if it's going to be Jared Verse or could even be Dallas something from Alabama, Dallas Turner, another edge rusher. So just kind of looking at the top 10 here, I think Drake May, they've got him here going at 9, but
really
to the Vikings, but I think he's going to go higher up.
He
as
might
part
go,
of this trade.
Yeah, he might go higher just because the Vikings went higher.
Exactly, and I think my lock pick of the first round, even more than Caleb Williams.
Whoa.
I think it's Brock Bowers of the Jets.
I can see that.
Because I think that fits for Aaron Rodgers. The guy's dominating, and there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody above that will take him.
No, probably not. Not with all those options available.
Yeah.
Because what do you say? The Jets have 9.
Jets are at 10.
10.
Yeah.
I can easily see 7, 8 players that are going to go before him, just between the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, and then, like you said, like a couple edge rushers or something.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all it takes, and then Brock Bowers is available.
Yep.
And for a team with the offense they did last year with the Jets, given quarterbacks are quarterbacks, but it will be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm seeing on this mock anyway, looks like 2 centers going in the first round. So this is a deep draft for a lot of positions.
Yeah.
Center is one of them. But yeah, it's going to be pretty wild to see how this all goes.
I'm excited.
So
I'm strictly staying with my idea that it's going to get nuts in the first round. There's going to be panic. Imagine if someone drops. Someone surprisingly takes whoever.
Yeah,
the what if situations I love so much.
Well, and you still have Bo Nix, and you still have Penix.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go. And this mock shows the Vikings taking 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds, which is not an awful idea.
No.
If they'd taken Penix here, and it should have taken, I think, Drake May earlier. So
yeah,
that's an interesting comment.
That would be crazy if teams just decided to start, instead of doing a 50-50 on one, doing 50-50 on 2.
Yeah.
But imagine you miss on both of them.
Oh gosh,
that's bad.
I could see where your thought is. Well, we're one way or another, we're going to take care of this, but maybe you do and maybe you don't. Right?
I mean, the quarterback position right now, it's going to get real loud for one of them, and the other one might be able to squeeze by. But that would be a crazy situation if you're just like, you're going to learn behind the other rookie.
Yeah.
In that mindset, because the Vikings don't really have anybody.
No.
I mean, they have the astronaut or Pastronaut, and they've got someone else, I think, but no real veteran quarterbacks that have really proven themselves throughout the years.
Let's see here. So let's hit a couple of fun tips, facts, and so forth. This week, I don't know if you saw it or not, but So the Vikings, U.S. Bank Stadium, plans to completely kill and could switch entirely to plant-based meat.
Go kill-free or something like that?
Yeah, kill-free. All ice cream, cheese, and condiments were replaced with dairy-free options as well. The Vikings will be the first NFL team to have a completely vegan stadium. Oh boy. One of the comments here is, imagine paying $54 for a vegan burger while rooting for the Vikings. Sounds awful.
Here's what I will say. One side of me is thinking that looks good publicly. Obviously, maybe not to every NFL fan, but as a whole, going green is publicly, favored.
Yeah.
But the other side of me is going, does that mean they can charge almost like he said, like $25 for a single burger?
Yeah.
Because, it's probably all that type of shit takes extra money. They make it organic or however the hell you want to say it. That sort of thing costs more than your backwoods burger with a slice of cheese that they found on the parking lot floor.
Yeah, it's awful, right?
And the other side is they have gotten a lot better of that stuff tasting pretty legit for what it's worth,
right?
But oh my god, I don't know if I'd go across the board. Maybe switch a few food items initially and see how it's received, but to switch the whole stadium at once.
Yeah,
was it Minnesota? Yeah, in Minnesota, I don't know if that's where I tried that experiment.
Yeah,
I'd probably try that in L.A., maybe even New York.
Yeah,
just for the sense of their cities, maybe they're more open to it. Not in the Midwest.
Yeah, I think that's completely nuts.
That doesn't feel. What if I want a meat option? Like they always say, do you have any vegan options? Do you have a meat option?
Exactly.
Just have some dude around the back saying you can blow me. God, that sucks. I don't.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take a U.S. Bank Arena off my list of stadiums to visit.
Yeah.
That sounded like a good one, but maybe I'll just go to Lambeau instead.
Maybe not, huh?
There's no way that goes well, right?
No.
They switch back by the second week.
There's no way in hell.
That makes no sense.
And your team, frankly, sucks.
They're not good enough for you to do that.
So what are you doing? I mean, yeah.
Patriots in 2010 maybe could pull that off.
That's right.
And I don't even think the Chiefs could do that right now because their owner's under fire for wanting to move the team, potentially.
Yeah.
So, maybe one team in history could do that.
So we know that... So father-son combination. So
okay.
Here we go into the new draft.
Right.
And we know Marvin Harrison Jr.'s dad played for the Colts.
Yep.
We also have Frank Gore Jr.
Yep.
coming into the draft, father of Frank Gore Sr.
Meatball.
Somebody said that watching him play, his elusiveness is just off the charts.
Really?
His ability to make people miss when he's running with the ball is just crazy.
Potential steal.
So we'll have to see where he winds up, but that's pretty cool.
Hot take. You want to know where he ends up?
Yeah.
Chargers.
You think so?
They have Gus Edwards right now, and that's it. With one of the other guys, Spiller, from a draft a few years ago. That never
no kidding.
panned out.
CJ Spiller?
Maybe not Spiller. Don't quote me. I don't know.
Could be.
Someone else.
Yeah, it could be.
But they signed Gus Edwards for sure.
Okay.
And then Frank Gore played with Jim Harbaugh, or was a player for Jim Harbaugh on the 49ers, wasn't he?
I think.
Or was those timelines not overlap?
I think he probably was.
And I don't think Frank Gore Jr. is high on any draft boards.
No.
Second, third round maybe to the Chargers.
He hasn't really been talked about at all.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my hot take.
That's a cool one.
That would be fun. I'd be okay with that because I just want a running back that gets more than 3 yards a carry. So quick segue. Sorry.
No, that's good.
Derailed it.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we talked about Joe Alt,
yes.
The offensive tackle, probably number 1 overall.
Right.
His dad was a tackle for the Chiefs.
Oh.
Named John Alt. So that's
John
pretty
and
cool.
Joe Alt.
Yeah. Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Okay.
His dad played linebacker for the Eagles.
Okay.
He's coming out. His dad's already said if he gets drafted by the Cowboys, he will not be a Cowboys fan.
I saw him. I saw that news then.
A couple other ones here might not know. But Keon Coleman is a wide receiver coming out from Florida State.
Okay.
He's CeeDee Lamb's cousin.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that's kind of funny. Luke McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
So Ed McCaffrey and Christian McCaffrey, that's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty wild.
That's...
And to me, I look at this like I remember when T.J. Watt came out in the draft.
Right.
The Cowboys picked Taco Charlton. You've heard me whine about that forever. Listen, the legacy. When you have these families like this, they come out, take the kid, damn it.
Yeah.
So I would take Luke McCaffrey as a wide receiver just because of the last name.
Oh, yeah. And if you can get him in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, I see no reason why you would draft anyone else.
Exactly.
And that's what I got at with a lot of people. I had this conversation with a few where it's like Marvin Harrison Jr. is a bitch for not going to the combine or not going to this whatever. It's like, do you understand who his father was?
Yeah.
I would take his training over whatever clown shit they're doing at the combine. It's
in a heartbeat.
It is a talent show, if you will, at the combine.
Yeah.
It means nothing. No one's career was ever well, sorry. People have blown ACLs. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
No one's career was ever jump-started because they were at the combine.
Yeah.
Most people just want the numbers just to know in the 5th round who they're going to take over someone else.
PFF this morning, John, the guy from there
Yeah.
that was on NFL radio, was just talking about that same kind of thing, and the names, and the
legacy of
the
the
legacy,
name, the
thank
family
you.
name. I mean, to have a parent that's been there and done that, and if they were successful,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, and his dad comes out and says, well, he'll be doing NFL drills while you're, being a princess at the combine. It's like, yeah, no, I want to fucking hear that as a fan. It's like, get him. I don't care if he has injury problems or anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a chance on that.
He also said that they were working on some way to like measure players during games to compare it to like their combine numbers to see do those
Like
numbers
speed.
translate into like a game situation.
For like a running back if they were doing
Yeah.
the 40 versus a running back and like the game if they were running upfield.
Yeah, exactly. Does that attribute from the combine show up in the actual game, or is it like you
Two
just
separate
described?
entities.
Because that's the point. Is a lot of these people can't do that.
Yeah, and just something that's been in the back of my head the last couple of years with the combine, because more players have like just not gone to it or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can understand comparing stats like in that nature if you're looking at 5th and 6th rounders,
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah. You got to have something.
You
right?
got to put in a name.
You got to know something. You got
yeah. There's a reason.
Guy's
to
a freak,
draft.
right?
Yeah.
Take a chance. Physical
right.
freak.
If he benched 40 times with 250 or whatever the number might be, but then it's like when if you're a running back cutting back and forth, do any of those drills really show that? Because you're always going to be in unique situations against a new defensive line. If you're a quarterback, that person's never going to be open like that. You just threw to. Lord knows, whoever the hell's on the other end of that ball, which might be Garrett. Why can't I think of his first name?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Maybe Myles Garrett's rushing you, and instead of the combine where you're not worried about anything. I digress.
No, but it's a great point.
It's always been a question.
Well, and that's the secret the team's scouting departments are trying to sort through and figure out and talk to coaches. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention NFL Draft, the movie.
Right.
If you get a chance to watch that, I mean, it's such a great, it goes through
movie.
all this stuff in I think, a very compelling way. Last one, Brendan Rice.
Okay.
Jerry Rice's kid.
Oh, that's funny.
So we got that one coming out too. So some great stuff there, right?
Jerry's like, you're going to make millions, boy. My final wish as a Cowboys owner is going to be to draft you, and then I'm out.
And I could see that. He's already said apparently he wanted to play for the Cowboys. So we'll see if something like that happens or not.
Come here, water boy. No, I'm just kidding.
Get a load of this draft class by the Steelers, okay? 1974 Steelers draft class.
All right.
Lynn Swann.
All right.
Jack Lambert.
Oh, boy.
John Stallworth. Mike Webster. And Donnie Shell, the safety.
I feel like I recognize all those names, which is probably...
I think they're all Hall of Famers.
God bless.
All in one damn draft.
Talk about the Iron Curtain.
I mean, that's insane, right?
I can't imagine if someone did that. Well, I guess, who knows, but that's a crazy draft class.
I saw that and I was like, are you kidding me?
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Biggest high school kid now playing football.
Oh, was the kid with the bench? Or the squat rack?
I don't know if that's...
never mind.
Might be.
Might be a different thing.
This guy's 7 foot, 440 pounds. Biggest high school football player ever is what this says.
Is he running back?
He looks like an O-lineman, which sounds about right, I guess.
He probably can take 2 kids, one with each arm.
This mock draft, just to hit another one, this is Pete Schrager's from NFL Morning Show.
Right.
Caleb Williams to the Bears,
Yep.
Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, Drake May to the Patriots, J.J. McCarthy fourth to the Giants.
Oh, boy.
So that's them trading up. Marvin Harrison Jr. fifth to the Chargers, which would be a great pick.
That'd be good.
Rome Odunze, is that his Odunze?
I just know it's Odunze.
Okay, Odunze, Rome. Going to the Cardinals. Joe Alt going to the Titans at 7. Dallas Turner going to the Falcons at 8. He's the defensive edge from Alabama.
Right.
Colts getting Neighbors at 9. And, again, Brock Bowers at 10 to the Jets.
Okay.
So there's a little rundown on those.
Not too bad.
No, not bad at all.
And just so you guys know, next week we'll be giving our official mock draft and picks for the draft. We're saving that because that'll be the morning of the draft.
Yep.
And we will be, we'll put out the video, but we'll have all, 32 picks probably ready to go?
All of it, yep. And the preparation still goes on.
We keep rolling.
We have another week to finalize it and try to hear. Obviously, you want to wait to the last minute as far as you can.
Just because of news.
Because it keeps changing.
Last thing we need is someone with a gas mask again coming out with a video.
Whew.
That was hilarious.
Jeremy Tunsil. Oh, boy. Talking about dropping a little bit.
That was like the draft day.
Yeah, it was.
Movie.
Couple other hot takes. Apparently, Brandon Ayuk is having some negotiation issues with the Niners and is requesting a trade.
Yes, that is still going on.
Apparently, the Steelers, Cowboys, and Giants have expressed clear interest in him.
There should be 32 teams calling. 31, sorry.
So will that be a draft day
trade? 49ers
for
get a
maybe?
Yep. I mean,
could see it.
I've seen Bengals fans saying that Tyler Boyd is the one that's been kind of up and down.
I think so. Yeah.
People have been telling me that Tyler Boyd will be traded on draft day to get a higher pick with some team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Chargers. Who knows? I've seen people say the Ayuk one. There's been a lot of these players that seem to have issues that people are assuming are going to get traded draft day for that in the next year's second round or whatever to get like a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Which would be crazy. That's one avenue I haven't heard many different networks or shows talk about yet. That's still a very possible thing.
Very much so. There's lots of players who could be moved for picks on draft day for next year's picks.
Yep, and
so
Lord only knows how that ends up.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting little stat I came across. This one kind of blew my mind. This is about Dan Marino.
Oh.
Played 19 straight games from 1988 to 1989 without getting sacked.
Oh my God.
That was 759 straight pass attempts without being sacked. It's an NFL record. The second most is 275 by Ben Roethlisberger. So Dan Marino, 759 straight pass attempts without being sacked. The next closest is almost 500 pass attempts away.
Oh my God.
He was regarded, as quick release,
right.
Get the ball out.
That stat.
But I had no idea it was that staggering.
Good God.
So, anyway.
That's not even close. Wow.
I thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy stat. Because these days, I can't imagine a quarterback going a season without getting at least sacked a few times.
Yeah, exactly. It's just bizarre. Couple other little tidbits, if I can. So, this was wild I saw. It's baseball, but it still kind of blows your mind.
Right.
So this married couple was hired by the Major League Baseball from 1981 to 2004 to draw up each season's baseball schedule by pencil. They were responsible for scheduling 2,430 games played by 30 teams. And they did this shit for 20 years, 23 years by hand.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that?
Scheduling baseball games is worse than going to a baseball game. Or watching one, I should say.
Oh, my gosh.
That would be so excruciating. Because you have to,
So, and I'm sure the NFL did it the same way, but not the same number of games, right?
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be 2,100 you're scheduling. You'd be scheduling whatever that 200, whatever that number would be.
But how do you do that? This team is here, that team's there. You can't have them here at the same time, or all the little exceptions. By pencil? One couple?
When did they start it? Did it say-
1981.
Wow, so they did that well into like Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, 1981 to 2004.
Damn.
I just read that, and I'm like,
You have to think they had
What?
some system at some point, but like, God bless.
I mean,
Just writing the abbreviations, if anything,
Yeah.
would make me so mad.
I mean, would you put that on a wall? I mean,
I don't know if you'd have a big puzzle table and
Yeah.
get like, however many
Keep
icons you needed of each team.
shifting those pieces around, or what the
Oh
fuck?
my
I don't know.
God. I can't imagine how you transport that either
No.
to like
It's crazy.
MLB offices.
Yeah, exactly.
Police escort.
That's right. So, big weekend in golf, the Masters.
Yeah, the Masters ended.
Scotty Scheffler won for the second time in 3 years. Guy is just phenomenal.
He's on a tear.
He's on a tear. Loved it at the end, and again, I'll said these to Colin. He'll
Yeah.
put them up. But Scotty Scheffler's caddy,
Yes.
who's won 4 majors now, 2 with Scheffler.
Oh.
But he waited for him for his walk through the crowd, which was really kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy seems like a real decent dude. Very humble, whatever. But the other big thing kind of ties into football. Vern Lundquist
Okay.
broadcast, I think, his 40th Masters and is now retired.
Oh, good for him. Damn.
And it says here his last. So the hour belongs to Scotty Scheffler, a 4-shot lead with 2 to play. There you are. That was his last commentary,
Oh my God.
which he made from the 16th green.
Right.
And there's a really cool picture when as Tiger played his last round, just his hand.
Oh,
So-
was he the one behind the tree?
That's Vern Lundquist behind. Did you just see the arm
Oh
and all
my-
the memes that came out?
the
Yes.
tree memes were iconic.
Yes.
I'm so sad for him because that's going to be how he's remembered
How he's
now.
remembered. The tie-in here to football, I mean, Vern Lundquist broadcast so many pro football games in his career. I heard him so many times doing Cowboys games.
Right.
And the guy is just a true professional. One of those voices, it was like when you heard it,
You knew exactly
you're like,
what you were
yes,
watching.
good
Yeah.
broadcaster for the week.
Right.
You know?
We won.
Last little tidbit I have on the Masters. So I don't know if anybody saw this or not, but oh God, I forgot his name right now. But this one golfer, we'll show it here, but he hit the ball and he somehow fucked up the shot or something.
Right.
He took like a Johnson is his last name, but
Dustin?
not Dustin Johnson, different one.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But after he gets done cleaning up like a double or triple bogey, he gets up and the crowd kind of does something. And he goes, "Oh, fuck off!" It looks directed at the crowd. Okay,
He's one of us.
totally get it. But when they're interviewing after, they asked him about it, and he just played stupid. And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I don't know what the big deal."
I'm sure that
What
fine
is
was
what is
crazy.
it? What are they saying that I did or said or didn't do? Or I was upset at myself, certainly. But if you watch it, there's no doubt in the world.
You might as well have pointed at the crowd.
Oh, fuck off! It's just like that. And ironically, this guy also has had some issues when he's in the tee box. And he's doing his practice swing. He has more than once hit the ball in his practice swing. Oh fuck! Oh shit! And what do we do? He didn't intend to hit it. You hear the caddy in the background going, "What do you? Well, that doesn't count. That doesn't count." And I don't know what they officially do with that.
If he does it enough, I'd just be like, all right, you can. It's fine.
But that sounds more like something I would do.
That sounds like someone that's got bad nerves to be playing golf.
Yeah.
That's
So-
hilarious, though. I mean, I love the I play stupid mixed with the. I certainly would never say that to the crowd if I did say something.
Yeah.
Playing stupid but not enough that you don't know what you did.
Yeah. I mean,
oh my God.
so it was very entertaining. Yeah. Again, Colin will put something up here about it. God, that's driving me crazy. I can't get his name. Sorry.
Try to find it.
But the other one that was kind of interesting. So this kid,
The 19-year-old.
Swiss kid, Oberg.
Yeah.
This kid was so fun to watch during the Masters. He smiled no matter what he did. He was just taking it in, loving
Right.
it. Max Homa was the same way. He played with Tiger the first 2 days.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
And he's great too.
Yeah.
But this kid from Switzerland was in, I think he finished second. And
Yeah.
he had a chance to win it.
He was getting there.
Yeah. And he just kept plugging.
Couldn't
But he's walking between holes and he's eating like a bar or something, a snack. And as he's coming by, he takes a bite and he's walking up and he's high-fiving like this. And somebody smacks him so hard that what he had left of his bar just falls to the ground. And you see him just kind of walk and go like this. And then he just kind of turns back and grins to whoever knocked it out of his hand. But it was just so funny and just so like arbitrary, right?
The moments in the when you're watching professional sports that you see like a real reaction to losing your food. It brings it back down to earth a little bit, and you're like, yeah, they're human too.
It really does. So
not to mention just yelling "fuck off" to the crowd. I mean, that is iconically like a human moment.
It so is.
Mm-hmm.
John Rahm was another one. He teed off at one point. The ball just kind of goes up and then slices off to the right, and he just every possible cuss word he could say as he picks his tee up, throws it into the woods, and just walks up, and he's just like, motherfucker, what the fuck? Fuck, Ron, fuck.
You gotta love it.
So
watching them get frustrated makes me feel better about when I'm throwing a club into the fucking lake.
It's so refreshing, honestly.
It is.
But had to hit a little Masters there because that was a big.
I forgot this is the podcast after it ended, to be honest.
No, and it was great. I was glued to it on Sunday for sure.
Hell yeah.
Man, that's all I got football-wise and sports-wise. And
that's all I've got. There's not really anything else going on. Draft preparations and go from there.
Next week, we'll have a full episode of our predictions. And
that'll be the whole thing.
Colin and I will each have our projections we'll put out there and maybe put down our first couple picks for each of our teams. And invite you to join, too. And
I'll have the bets and whatnot. And
bets as well.
I'll simplify it at the end. It'll be at the end of the episode. I'll kind of give, quote by position. I'll be looking at the FanDuel bets, so I'll be able to tell you what we like based on Kevin's picks, what we don't like, and go from there. And 1 week closer.
Yeah, it's going to be next week's going to be an exciting big week. Draft Thursday, and then it goes all through Sunday, basically.
Yeah, it's 4 days, I think.
Yeah.
And first 2 days are the main ones. First day is really the only one.
Exactly.
But go from there.
Right on.
Appreciate everyone watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. Great. Maybe it's warm out for you. Maybe it's not. I haven't checked the weather. Who knows?
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, and
happy to be here.
We're back, baby.
Right on.
See you all next week for the draft.